Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing a mukbang for you guys. It's going to be a crawfish mukbang. I decided to experiment a little bit with the seasoning, and this is what I came up with. I'm so proud of myself. It smells so good, and this is like the last bit of seafood, like crawfish that I have. So that means I gotta go out and get some more. So today I'm going to be talking about mental health, because today is National Mental Health Day, and I wanted to share with you guys like how I've been managing my mental health, different exercises that I was giving to help me, and I wanted to share with you guys. So without further ado, we're gonna get started because I'm hungry. This is like one of the only things that I've had all day. I had like a little bit of a salad earlier, and that was it. And I had some eggs and bacon, but it's like almost 10:30, so I haven't eaten dinner yet. So we're gonna get started, and then we're gonna get into it. I have crawfish, I have a Pepsi. I may not drink the Pepsi, we'll see. And if you hear any kids in the background, that's because they're down here. So I am super excited for Vlogtober. It's been going really great. I didn't get a chance to get this video up until late, as you guys will be seeing it. That's because it's just, even though it's Sunday, it's been a crazy day. I'm still working. I still have stuff to do. You know what I'm saying? Work never ends. The kids don't have school tomorrow because it's a holiday. Y'all might call it something else, but we call it Indigenous Day in my house. We had a little education history lesson with the kids about who Columbus really was. I'm actually been thinking about starting a mukbang channel and a planning channel and a budgeting channel separately from this channel, only because I'm trying to like keep this channel more like family friendly content. So like, and then also do like a separate channel for like all my business videos that I wanted to share with you guys. Because on this channel, y'all like cooking videos. Y'all are really enjoying my hauls. Y'all really like pantry stuff and family vlogs and stuff like that. So I kind of don't want to like bombard you guys with like a whole bunch of different content that you really don't care for. Now mind you, I found a lot of new people. A lot of people found me because of those videos, but for the most part, I think that's all they really watch. I don't know if they watch any other content. If you are one of those people that found one of my videos that are not like my vlog videos or my hauls, let me know in the comments and tell me if you actually watch my other videos or if you prefer like strictly like budgeting, planning videos, because I really love stuff like that. And it will be great to show you guys like how I plan my monthly planners and like how I do my goals, and for those that are interested, my business videos, and sharing with you guys like, I mean, some of it I'll probably put on this channel because I know it'll benefit a lot of people, but like how I make money online, like legit money. Jobs that you can do remote. So I've been thinking about doing that. Since now I've been slurping for a while. And of course I forget paper towels. I'll be back. Oh wait, I got wipes here. Here for the babies. I have wipes everywhere throughout the whole house because you just never know when you'll need a wipe. Honestly, they should give wipes to us like in restaurants. Sorry about that. I had to turn off the washer because, you know, washing clothes never ends in this house. Y'all already know. So with my mental health, as a lot of you guys know, I am bipolar, manic depressed. I guess you can say, like, I have bipolar disorder, but I'm also like, I have the manic and depression. Lately it hasn't been the depression. If you watch my organizing video where I was like doing my room and stuff like that, lately, I want to say since my last miscarriage, I haven't really been depressed. Obviously, like, after that I was depressed, but I'm saying, like, after that happened, like, the depression kind of went away and it became more of like a manic issue for me, to where it's like I'm constantly, like, I can be up for like days at a time, hours at a time, and I assumed that, like, if I went and got help, that I would be forced to be put on medication. When I was younger, like, they automatically put me on medication and everything like that. So I was like, kind of like, the reason why I was hesitant in even going to get like any help was because, like, I didn't want to be on medication. Like, nothing against medication. Like, I'm all for it for people that need it, but I wanted to find different techniques, especially techniques that can help me quit smoking, and all that. So, oh my god, this is so good. So I went into it like, you know, like, I'm gonna be my advocate. I'm gonna demand that I don't want to be on medication if I don't have to be, and it kind of worked out, like, with my therapist and everything, because they didn't really like see the point of me being on medication, because I went so long without it that it hasn't affected my livelihood, and to the point where like, I can't keep a job, you know what I mean? Like, I can't keep a job. I can't manage money. I'm not, you know, what is the word? I'm not competent, if that makes sense. So that was like, if you can survive without, like, the fact that I didn't have no hospitalization the whole time, also kind of like, is like, okay, you don't really need it unless it's like an extreme situation. So the few different techniques that I feel like helped me a lot with the therapy was the different exercises. And one of the exercises, and I also seen it on like Facebook or Instagram, where you provide like positive feedback to other people. And so I tried this with the kids, like, I'm so proud of you for doing this, that type of thing. However, I mean, it wasn't a bad thing, but however, I didn't like the validation that the kids were looking for. The kids were constantly doing things to try and seek that validation, and I did not like that, only for the simple fact that I don't want them to feel like that they have to seek validation from me in order to feel proud or be prideful about who they are and what they're doing with themselves. And so it kind of like switched to a different technique or a different exercise, to where now one of my goals is that whenever the kids talk to me, automatically put my phone down, automatically like give that one-on-one attention, and just like have that conversation with them, only because my work schedule is so crazy, and it's kind of hard to have like that one-on-one time with the kids. So, and it's also like, what was one of my goals too was to like be more present, be more in the moment. And so that was like one of the exercises that I did, and I noticed a huge difference. I noticed that I'm having more conversations with the kids, and it's not just so much like I hear them, but I'm not listening, if that makes sense. Because, like, you know, growing up, our parents really didn't listen to us. So that's one of the things. Another one was like communicating expectations as well as the consequences behind those expectations. And consequences aren't necessarily bad or good. It's just whatever you feel is a consequence of it. You know, there's always a cause and effect behind it. So that was one of the things that I learned. And not only did my therapist suggest this, also the social worker from an agency that was referred to us by CPS suggested this as well. Another one that I guess you can say like unlearned was that my kids aren't bad. They're just exploring and learning. And that was something that I had to unlearn was the fact that my kids are bad, my kids are bad, my kids are bad, my kids are doing bad things. And going to therapy, like my therapist had to like really explain it to me and really break it down to me. Is like, your kids are not bad. They're just learning and exploring and, you know, coming into the realization of their own independence, their own selves. They're trying to discover who they are. They're trying to learn how to adapt to their environment with their friends and everything like that, and with how society is and all that. So once I unlearned that thought process, I was like, okay, that makes sense. And that's where, you know, a lot of the issues that I was having with the kids like kind of stopped. And then like, not in a sense like the issues didn't stop, but like the way I was stressing about it, the way I was beating myself up about it, the way I was, you know, the way I was guilting myself and degrading myself for every single little thing that they were doing. You know what I mean? And like, come on, kids are gonna do crazy stuff regardless. It wasn't until I had that realization that like, they're not bad. They're just learning and experiencing life. And as a parent, we have to set boundaries and healthy boundaries. You know what I mean? Like, okay, if you do this, this is my consequences for what you're doing. And not necessarily like the bad things. It's like, if you do this for me, you know, you'll get this reward. It just depends on what it is, because not everything is warranted a reward. Like cleaning, it's not warranted a reward. You know what I mean? Like, everybody has to clean. Like, we don't get rewarded for cleaning. But like, if the kids are doing really well in school, if the kids go surprise me and go above and help out, whether if it's with the baby, Araya, around the house, whatever the case may be. And incentives, where I was doing incentives and all that, that wasn't a bad idea. It's just that with the incentives, it had to be smaller incentives in between. So even though like I would have an incentive, like you get straight A's, you'll get this, but in between that, I should have like included smaller incentives. And that's what I've been doing now. Is like, if you do this or whatever the case may be, they get money, because that's what they want. That's all they care about is money. But my mental health was so bad because I was stressing myself out about every single thing that was happening. And it just made me second guess myself. It made me degrade myself. It made me feel worse, as not just as a mother, but as a woman, as a person. That like, I just felt like anything that like my kid did was like a failure to me. And that's something that a lot of us parents don't realize, is that what our kids do and their choices that they make does not reflect on us as a failure as a parent. It does not. And that's something that one of my therapists told me too, was that like, you cannot like absorb and internalize what your kids do, because it's not going to help you. It's not going to make you feel like any better. The only thing that we can reassure is to reiterate the lessons and the wisdom that we have to help them make the right choices. the only thing that we can really offer our kids, especially now that especially my older ones, when they're transitioning into adulthood, is to provide support, to provide somebody like a guidance or a listening ear. Sometimes you just, as parents, we have to shut up and just listen to our kids. And that's something that I struggled with before. And not because I didn't want to, it's just was never done with me. And that's something that I realized that like I could have made different choices with. And I'm also a softie. I was basically like doing all that self-guilt and all that self-degrading and all that, and only for me to be that softy person and give in and feel like, well, if I give in and do this, or if I offer this or try to come up with a compromise, their behavior will change. And I was doing it wrong. That was like so totally the wrong thing to do on my end. And I learned that as well, that kids are, they need discipline. Like, it's required for kids to need discipline. It's a necessity for them. And when we renege on our punishments or we don't follow through with what we're saying, regardless of how we feel, the kids take that and read into it 100% and be like, oh, I can get away with that again. I can do that again, because there's no consequences behind it. Regardless if I just do one day punishment or anything, like I would never follow through with it ever. Now it's a different story. I'm the bad guy and I'm okay with that. So that was like a couple of the techniques that worked for me. Another one that was super beneficial for me was meditation, and that was something that I taught the kids, and we started bringing that back into our day-to-day life. Like the other day, Andrea was upset, and I was like, Andrea, take a deep breath in and deep breathe out. Something that I've been trying to get back into the habit with the kids, and not just like by myself solo, you know. It is something that I wanted to incorporate with the kids. So we've been doing like, if a certain situation comes up, I'm like, 5, breathe in, breathe out, like that type of thing. And I do it to everybody, including myself. But meditation, I realized that was like the #1 thing that has probably helped me the last decade or so when it comes to my mental health, is meditating. And I've always been the type of person to meditate, regardless of what's been going on in my life. And I think that's what kind of been keeping me grounded. But I just know I needed help with the manic part of the situation that I was dealing with, because those episodes are not fun. I'm just saying, they're not fun, especially when you have to crash after you've been up for 24 to 32 hours. At some point, I've done 3 days in a row, and that's not cool. So it doesn't hurt to go and ask for help. I will have all the links down in the description box if you need to find somebody. I believe, I have to double check, but I believe there is a website for those that are looking for a specific either race or a specific, you know, person, like, you know, the trans community or the LGBTQ community, or somebody that is poly friendly, whatever the case may be. I will try and link all that down in the description box. You okay? You just look tired. So if you guys have any like tips or tricks or any advice for other moms out there, and you know what, it's crazy because like I watched the TikTok the other day, and I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but another woman, she was saying like how she was dealing with postpartum depression. I'm thankful that I did not suffer with postpartum depression this time around. With Akina and Andrea, I did. with Araya, I had a little bit of it, of postpartum depression, but it was nothing compared to what I had on. I turned it off. Yeah.
As long as it gets done before you do it.
I'll turn it back on because the other video I have to do is silent. Leon was about to go off. But it wasn't as bad as I had it with Andrea. Andrea was like the worst, and I think it had to do with the fact that she was in the NICU, and I had a 2-year-old. I think I had a 1-year-old at the time, and it was just a mess. And thankfully for Leon, like he got me to find somebody to get help, and that was the last time I went through therapy and all that. And I watched The Secret, I believe, in that same year after I started going back to therapy and stuff like that, after I had Andrea. And yeah, and ever since then, like even my therapist at the time was like, okay, you don't have to keep come seeing us. Like, you really you don't need us anymore. But luckily now I know the symptoms of being bipolar, and I understand the issues that I'm dealing with. Like, you know, sometimes I don't want to get out of bed, and I'm not depressed at all. Like, that's just how it was. Especially after I had the miscarriage, I just didn't want to get out the bed at all. I don't shower. I wouldn't shower. I mean, obviously because I wouldn't get out the bed, but it's a stigma that a lot of people don't talk about. And a lot of people don't really talk about the different exercises that you can do to help you with that. And for me, when I used to get really depressed and everything, the main priority for me to try and get out that state was to take a shower, regardless. Like, especially taking a shower, combing, washing and brushing out my hair. If that was the max that I could do, I took that as a win, you know. Another thing was dancing. That's why I was like, I got into running. Running when I was a kid was like everything to me because I really enjoyed it. That's why I got into fitness. Also, another thing that kind of helped me too was getting my nails done. Just like the small little things that you wouldn't think of really makes a huge difference. And I know it's not easy for everybody because everybody's in a different situation, but in the end, it will benefit you if you can find the littlest things that will make you feel good about yourself. And of course, the camera's about to die. Well, it's not about to die, it's about to turn off because it only goes up to like 24 minutes or something like that. And one thing, another thing that I can offer like advice to is to be your own advocate. Especially if you're a woman of color or minority, be your own advocate, because a lot of these places will dismiss you and make you feel like you're just imagining things. Be your own advocate. Switch doctors if you have to. Demand help. Go to a different hospital if you have to admit yourself. Whatever the case may be. Obviously, you know, it's not 100%, you know, and, you know, doctors make mistakes, but that's the whole point of a treatment plan. Treatment plans are not like set in stone. You can always adjust them and you can always fix them as you go. So today, I may not be on medication. However, who knows what tomorrow will bring, you know, anything can happen. And God forbid it, nothing happens. Knock on wood. But This is so good, guys. I wish y'all could have some. But, you know, anything can happen, and that's the whole point of a treatment plan, is so that way you and your doctor can have an idea of what techniques or medication or whatever the case may be can be working for you. There's so many different ways. I know there's one where it's like a light thing where it's like it goes across and then like you have to do like exercises. They like ask you questions. I've never done that. Going to a regular therapist to sit down and have a conversation with somebody, may not be for you. There's life coaches. You know, sometimes a life coach may be a better option for you than going to a therapist. There's so many different options, and I'll link everything down either in the description box or in the comments, so that way you guys can have an alternative option, especially if you don't have insurance and you have to pay out of pocket, because it is not cheap to pay for a therapist. It's just not. And I'll also try and find free resources for you to be able to find a therapist that you can afford or that will be free, because there's a lot of places that do offer free services like that. Another technique that that I've done for years, that's nothing new, and you probably do it and don't realize it, is journaling. Journaling is super helpful. It can help you put down all of those thoughts, whether if they're negative or positive, onto paper and just let it go and release it. It's something that I've been doing since I was like a little kid, and I love it. I love these like little claws. I was so excited to see my brother today. He came up from North Carolina, and he's doing really well. And every time I see my brother, it's like all I see is justice. Like there's like exact twins. Even his daughter's mom was like, oh my goodness, like split twins. And even his daughter looks just like him, and like her and Justice could be like brothers and sisters. And Raya, because they all like look alike. And really it's just about unlearning a lot of the habits that I was taught growing up. And I'm still learning, I'm still adapting, I'm still, you know, open to a whole lot of new techniques and ideas. I don't think behavioral therapy is a bad thing for kids, especially if you're going to therapy for yourself, because, you know, kids sometimes have to learn how to communicate differently. Kids need to know how to navigate their emotions differently, and that's something that I didn't teach my kids, is how to navigate their emotions and how to work through their emotions, because I wasn't taught how to do that. And therapy really helped me with that. And it's crazy because a lot of people don't assume that your emotions has a lot to do with your mental health, and it does. Your mental health can affect a lot of things, not just your mind. It can have a huge toll on your other health issues, like your teeth, your heart, your weight, your gut. You can even, like, stress can even cause like a huge rash, which you guys see me walking around with rashes because all over my face, because of the simple fact that I was so stressed out. And now that I'm not stressing myself out, nope. So like it's now at the point where it's like, okay, my kids are going to learn these life lessons, and I cannot internalize what they're doing as a personal attack, because it's not a personally attack towards me. It's the fact that they're trying to learn and adapt to their new world, and the new world is basically they're becoming adults, and I had to basically let go of their hand. And what I mean by that is let go of their hand and let them explore, let them experience. Yes, some people be like, oh, well, your kid is skipping class. Well, she had to experience that in order to realize, to experience the consequences of that. You know what I mean? Otherwise, how will she know? You know what I mean? Like, she's not going to know or understand or realize how the severity of it behind it if she didn't experience it. And it's normal. Like, let's be realistic. Okay, for the most part, we all skipped classes. We skipped school. We did what we did. And to think that our kids are not going to do that is unrealistic. Like, come on. And there's always that saying that, like, you know how our mama used to tell us, like, I can't wait till the day that you have your own that's going to be exactly like you. Well, that's my oldest, you know. She's going to be, and I feel like the reason being is to teach myself that, like, her going through the process of going through what she's going through and trying to get towards adulthood, and me seeing that is helping me be a better parent, I guess you can say. And the reason being is because it's making me reflect on how I was at that age. It's making me reflect on how I was parent and how I was disciplined and how I was raised and how what was done for me did not work, and how I want to change that for my kids, because I don't want my kids to grow up and think this is normal. When I'm angry, I act this way, and that's normal when that's not. But it was hard for me to, relay that information to my kids, because I wasn't taught that. I wasn't taught how to express myself. I wasn't taught how to regulate my emotions. I wasn't taught how to navigate those emotions and utilize those emotions towards something positive. And it wasn't until I got myself into therapy and the kids' behavioral therapy as well to learn that, like, this is not normal, that it, benefited us. Do I have my moments? Of course. I'm not going to front and act like I don't have my moments where those old habits come back, and then I'm just like, oop, I didn't mean it. As unnormal as it is, apologizing to our kids is not the end of the world. It's not going to kill you to apologize to kids, because that teaches them that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to mess up, and it's not that bad if you make a mistake. And really, it's about how do you rectify it, apologizing, and doing better the next time that the situation happens again. All right, y'all, not done talking, but you know what I mean. That was good. That was good. So, a little bit, if you're still here with me at the end of this, and you're new to my channel, or you're just finding this channel, I believe I was diagnosed with bipolar at the age of 16. Yeah, 16. Before I turned 17. And it runs in my family. My mom is bipolar. She has the same diagnosis. And And from my understanding, it runs on my maternal side of my family. So I was screwed regardless. Regardless of how you look at it. But there's also other factors behind it as well. Because, you know, a lot of people don't believe that, like, there's traumas when it comes to adoption. I was adopted out. My aunt adopted me. And a lot of people don't believe that adoption can be traumatic, and I'll link somebody down in the description box that I follow on TikTok who is so vocal about it, and I agree with her 100%. Doesn't matter what age, even if the infant was, you know, given up for adoption at an infant age, it's traumatic, you know, because think about it. Baby was in the stomach for 9 months, and then to be taken out of the womb and then put into somebody else's arms that has no familiarity to them, like the heartbeat, the smell, their voice, whatever the case may be. Yeah, it's traumatic. You can't argue with me on that one. So my dad died when I was 5, and I was adopted out. So I had a lot of trauma growing up. So that also went into it, as well as the fact that I was sexually abused. And not a lot of people can believe that kids can be emotionally abused, verbally abused, and financially abused. And I went through all that growing up. And so, like, in return, I became, like, really sheltering to my kids. So my kids were really sheltered. And so, like, their behavior now is understandable. Like, they didn't get to go nowhere. They don't get to spend a night at nobody's house. Yeah, so I was very, like, leery about them going to friends' house. Like, I was not the type of person that, like, no, you can't go to that person's house. You can't even go inside. You can sleep. You can hang out on the porch. And I know in a way that is the reason why my kids do what they do, because they're like they're getting a taste of freedom. I'm not sheltering them. They get to go to, like, extra activities. They get to do other things. So it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't surprise me, because I grew up the same way. I was super sheltered, super strict, and when I got the minute to taste freedom, I never went back home. But, you know, I guess that's kind of the difference, but in a way it's not. So it makes sense. Ooh. Y'all, this was so good. Like, I'm gonna have to make it like this from now on, the way I made it today. Y'all be talking about the poop. I don't care. It's going down the same way. It's gonna come out. I'm making a mess on my shirt. I'm glad y'all can't see it. But so if you have any suggestions for other people, or if you know any resources for people, leave them in the comment section. I may be forgetting something or missing out on something. But the one exercise that I feel like that really helps in my opinion, is the 10-minute time span to spend with your kids. And to a lot of people, people be like, oh, 10 minutes is nothing. But you'll be surprised. Like, I'm one of those people, like, 10 minutes of my time to play with my kids or conversate with my kids was, like, not happening. And that's on. Where are you going? You going upstairs? You can change the channel. If she wants to watch something, she gotta go upstairs. She got a whole room. So, like, you know, spending that quality time or, like, even having that attention with the kids was just something I didn't think to do as I got older. And it's like, you know, just life got away from me. And, you know, as they got older, I felt like they just didn't want to be bothered. Because, you know, they got older, they had friends. They didn't want the affection, so I just assumed, okay, they don't want affection, they don't really want to be seen with me, you know, because they're friends and stuff, that they didn't want that one-on-one time or to even, like, conversate with me. But, you know, but having that one-on-one time, or just, you know, in the midst of things, and when they come up to me and say something to me, and I immediately try to, like, be aware and put my phone down and close my laptop, or, like, step away from it and to give them my undivided attention. And that's why you'll also see, like, in some of my vlogs where I'll only take a couple of the kids with us when we go shopping, so that way it feels like more intimate one-on-one time than feeling like, you know, they're just a part of the blub. And then when I say that, because it's a lot when all of us is together. So that's why I said I would never take all the kids with us shopping. Like, we just rotate. So that way everybody feels like they can get something and that one-on-one time with us. And when I say with us, I'm talking about Leon. Alright, I'm just eating a whole bunch of legs. I mean, claws. The sauce is so good. Alright. I'm pretty much done with this. I'll probably leave the claws for Jordan. Where'd you go?
So she fell asleep and then I put her on the crib and then she woke back up.
Oh, yeah, she does that. I'll give her some medicine. I'm done with this. Alright, I'm done. I hope you guys learned something from it, and maybe my story or my experience can probably give you guys an understanding of, like, where we're at and where we used to be at, because if you've been following along, it's been a crazy ride. And if you're new here and you have no idea what's going on, I'll try and link everything down in the description box if I remember, or if I can remember which video is what, so that way you guys can follow along and get an understanding of what's going on. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.